All right. Hello, my name is Jordan Caraway. I am Miss Hoover 2022 and continuing on in our Zoom interview series today, I am so excited to be joined.
Hi Jordan, my name is Sarah. I'm from Cork, which is in the south of Ireland, and I am halfway through a physics degree. And also part-time, I make physics educational content on TikTok.
That is so exciting. Okay, so how does being a content creator fit in with physics?
Well, I really like talking about physics, and I find it really fun to just like tease out concepts. Like when you're learning something, sometimes it can help to like try and explain it to someone else, and it really like solidifies it in your head. So a lot of my videos, I'll literally just be like walking down the street. Like I walk to college every day. So on my way, I'll just pull out my phone and be like, okay, today we're talking about quantum mechanics because I feel like it. And it's been really fun and really chill. And I've had a lot of people like, ask really good questions in the comment section and, ask, oh, can you talk about this? Can you talk about that? And that's been really, really fun to look into.
Oh, that's amazing. Okay, so how did you get interested in physics?
Well, I think it started when I was very, very young. So, do you know, like when you're a kid and you ask lots of questions, like why is the sky blue and that kind of thing. And my dad's an engineer, so he actually answered the questions. And a lot of them are like physicsy questions, like why is the sky blue? Is because of Rayleigh scattering, that kind of way. And I kind of just ended up very naturally getting into it like that. And then when I was in secondary school, so secondary school is the Irish equivalent of high school.
Okay.
Did lots of like science fairs and science projects, and then it just very naturally went into physics. And I really like it because it just lets me explain the world around me and understand things a lot better. So it happened very naturally, to be honest.
Okay, that's amazing. That's very exciting too. Now, what has it been for you, going into physics, which is a very male-dominated career field, and you were telling me how you have no women lecturers and very few in your program. What has that been like for you?
Yeah, so that's always been like a very, very prominent thing of being in physics, right? And I think when I was younger, I was sheltered from it a lot. Like when my dad got me into physics, he made a point of showing me a lot of, women physicists, like, Physics Girl on YouTube. She's absolutely fantastic. I love her. Um, and when you're growing up, a lot of my friends were like kind of very sciencey as well. But it's really only now that I'm kind of in college and I'm looking at, I'm doing internships and I'm looking at my own, like the physics department in my university. It's
Mhm.
becoming very, very obvious how polarized it is.
Yes.
And, it's kind of, it's only now starting to hit home how, how bad it actually is. Like my own physics department literally just can't find any women to hire. Um, so it's really, it kind of makes you wonder, like, because like about a third of my course are women. So like, where are they all going? As you go
Right.
up the ranks, they're vanishing, and where to? So that's kind of interesting to look into.
So where do you think in the physics field is falling short that we are losing women within the field?
I think it's kind of hard for me to say this early on in the game. I'm kind of
Right.
like looking and watching and learning at the moment. But from what I can tell, it kind of seems to be like a sort of a death by a thousand cuts situation. So it's not like any one particular problem, but it's like a cumulative thing. So, when you're very, very young, there is kind of a feeling of like, boys are naturally better at the sort of like the mathematical and the sciencey
Mhm.
subjects. And even though that's not true, and like logically, it's not true, it still gets in your head.
Right.
And then, you go on, and I've had a lot of conversations about this actually with the other girls in my class. Like the imposter syndrome that you get from it is absolutely brutal. And like with like you do engineering yourself, right?
Yes.
Yeah. So you'll know yourself, like it's really, really hard and you
For
are gonna
sure.
struggle. And that's not like a bad thing. It's not a reflection on you. Like it's just because it's hard and you're
No.
gonna struggle. But when you struggle and like that's inevitable, you start thinking, oh no, is this on me? Is this a me problem? And it is very easy to kind of lose your way a little bit and
Mhm.
forget why you started in the first place. Um, and then pair that with like, you will get looked down on a lot, and you will get underestimated and overlooked for things. And I can see how that might push you out, or maybe you don't feel safe to go to things. Actually, one thing I've noticed is especially it won't affect us as much now that, the hour passed last night as we're recording this, the clocks went forward. But I found that sometimes if a lecture is on later at night, it's really hard for the girls to get to because we can't get walked home. I used to have to like miss lectures and things if it was dark and I couldn't walk home safely.
Wow. Okay. I didn't even think about that.
Yeah, I didn't either until it happened this semester, and I was like, oh, that one didn't dawn on me. Yeah.
Okay. So now that being said, what do you think men within your field can do to help women feel safer and more accepted and more at home in physics?
That's a great question. I think sort of just pay attention to
Mm-hmm.
the women that are around them. If there's like, for example, like that now, like a late lecture or something,
Right.
maybe like offer to walk them home or give them a lift or something like that. Maybe if there's like a particular lecturer or something who's kind of sexist, maybe like stand up for them. Like I don't have any lecturers that are like outright sexist, but I have some of them that are like, they're of like an older generation, and they're a little bit stuck in their ways, and sometimes they may come out with something stupid, like that's happened. And if one of the guys can kind of jump in and kind of say like, oh, that's kind of
Yeah,
it
for
is it
sure.
is really helpful to see a guy kind of just in our corner.
Absolutely. I've had the sexist professor issue before, and it's a lot scarier to step up as a woman
Yeah, it is.
because
It
you
is.
already feel like you're like, I don't know, you know what I'm talking about. So it would
Yeah, no, I
definitely for
do.
sure
I
help
do. Yeah,
having a
no,
male classmate stand up.
yeah, having anyone else literally jump in and just be like, oh, it kind of, because if it's you saying it, it kind of just looks like you're kind of defending yourself and
Right.
bouncing back. But um, yeah, no, that's kind of the main thing, really. Just kind of pay attention to what's going on around you, and don't turn a blind eye. I think that's the main thing.
Absolutely.
Mm.
Okay, so now you said you're midway through your degree.
That's right. Yeah.
Start what you know now. What do you wish you could have told yourself starting out your degree, starting out in physics?
Ooh. I think I have quite a hard time like asking for help in general. I'm kind of very much the person who like, if I'm having issues, I will keep it to myself. You will
Yes.
never know about it. But the thing about this program, what I'm finding is it's very, very small. It only takes in about 30 people. Um, and we like, you'll go to a lot of college programs and they're very, very competitive. It's not really like that. Um, we're very collaborative, and we really work with other kids. And I started in the middle of the pandemic. My entire first year was online, and it made it really, really hard to kind of collaborate with other people because
Mhm.
I couldn't see them in person. So the main thing I would say is actually reach out to other people and get help. If you're having questions, if you've got questions, ask them. If you're struggling, say it. And even just like chatting with other people, like I was saying earlier, even just talking with the other girls about imposter syndrome, like I really, for months and months, I had it in my head that like this was an exclusively a me problem. No
Mhm.
one else had this. And then I talked to the other girls, and they were like, oh no, every single one of us has it. That was really, really comforting. So I think the main thing is talk to the people around you. That's really, really helpful.
Get in those support groups.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. And even the kids who are in like older years, like
Mhm.
my roommate last semester was a fourth year in my course, and like she gave me like a big folder full of notes from when she was in second year, and it has been like my Bible. So even stuff like that has been really, really great.
That's amazing. So are you going to try and do that moving forward for younger students?
I think so, yeah. I mean, a while back, I even had a first year student in my course leave a comment on my TikTok saying, do you have any tips for starting out? And I was like, yes, I do. Um, so, things like that I think can be really, really helpful.
Absolutely. So having that social media platform along with the women in your class, you've built like a really good support group, and you have people that you can speak about or speak with about the struggles and the commonalities in your field. How has that been working out for you? Has that helped a whole lot finding that support group?
It's helped so much. So actually how it works is I don't know how it works in America, but in
Mhm.
Ireland, we in colleges we have societies. So you'll have a society for basically every single interest you can think of. So I'm a member of the Physics and Astronomy Society, and it's made up of a lot of people who also study physics and astronomy. Seems pretty obvious. And some other people who don't as well are just kind of coming in and out. But I'm on the committee for that. And we have like a subcommittee as well. It's starting to turn into its own sort of mini society called EPONA, Equal Physics Opportunities in Networking and Academia. It's a bit of a mouthful, but it basically deals with making physics as accessible as possible to as many people as possible.
Okay.
And as part of EPONA, we run like girls' nights where we can just like all the girls get together and eat pizza and just talk about how we can make things better within the department.
Mhm.
And that's been absolutely incredible. Like just getting everyone together and sort of brainstorming, what are the problems? What can we do about it? Things like that.
Absolutely. So joining the clubs, the societies, those extracurriculars, getting involved really helps.
It's been absolutely fantastic.
That is amazing. Do you have any other advice or wisdom you would like to impart on any young women looking at this right now and thinking maybe they want to go into physics?
I think, if you're thinking of getting into physics in the first place, there's a reason for it. It's
Mhm.
because you love it and you're really, really interested in it. And it's going to get very, very difficult. Like, I'm not going to sugarcoat it. It's not a bed of roses. It's hard. Both like literally the content is hard, and also it's just not an easy path to go down, especially
Right.
when you're a girl. So when it gets hard, you need to just, this is going to sound very, very cheesy, but like remember why you started in the first place, because it's very easy to kind of get bogged down in like the details and oh, I've got an electromagnetism test tomorrow and I have no idea what I'm doing for it. That's definitely not the situation I'm in right now. But you kind of have to think of the big picture, and
Mhm.
I'm very interested in physics. This is something I've always wanted to do, and it's something I'd like to carry into the future. And just like keeping that in mind and keeping your cool has really helped me along.
So what is your why? What do you want to do with physics?
To be honest, I've always just found it so interesting. Like
Okay.
going back to what I said earlier about when I was very, very young and using it to explain the world around me.
Right.
And it's very difficult, like when you first start learning a new concept, because it's very, very abstract.
Mhm.
Sometimes it's very, very difficult to kind of piece everything together. But there is that moment when everything just clicks.
Yes.
And it's so satisfying. And I think that those kind of the click moments are what keeps me going. And then just being able to like talk to other people about it and watch them go through the click moment. And that's been really, really great as well.
That's amazing. Do you know kind of what career you'd want to pursue with physics? Like more on the theoretical side? I know there's a lot of subcategories and branches within physics.
There are, yeah. So the best thing about physics really is that if an employer sees a physics degree on your resume, they think, oh, this person is a really good problem solver, which
Right.
means that you can go into a lot of different fields. Like you're not restricted to physics. There are like six fourth years in my course who are about to graduate. They haven't actually graduated yet, who have secured graduate jobs in Apple. The European headquarters
Wow.
for Apple are in Cork, in the city. So they're going to work there. So that has nothing to do with physics. That's in like programming.
Right.
Um, so it's just sort of you learn a lot of different problem solving techniques, a lot of mathematical methods, things like that. And you're also very, very good at applying them to random situations. Um, so that kind of lends itself to a lot of different areas. So at
Mhm.
the moment, I'm kind of like putting out feelers for kind of what I like, what I don't like, doing internships, things like that. So yeah, I'm really liking the whole science communication thing.
Right.
Last summer, I worked in research in gravitational physics, and that was absolutely fantastic. It was so interesting. So I'd love to do like research or lecturing or something along those lines, but
Okay.
I'm totally open to anything at this point.
So now I want to ask, yeah, we've talked about being a woman in physics in the classroom. During your internships, how has it been in the actual like work environment?
Sure. So I worked at the Max Planck Institute for Gravitational Physics for 3 months last summer.
Wow.
And I should have been in Hanover in Germany, but because of the pandemic, I had to do it online from home, which is very sad. But look, what are you going to do? So the group I was working with was absolutely fantastic. I had two mentors. Um, all of the mentors in my particular research group were all men. There were two other interns that were girls, but I didn't actually interact with any higher ups that were women. So that kind of seems to be a common thread throughout this.
Okay.
The women in the higher ups are very, very, very sparse. You might find one or two here and there, but there aren't many.
Mhm.
And it's going to be interesting as I sort of, after I graduate and do postgraduate work and whatever, I'd love to see why it is the women keep leaving,
Right.
because I don't quite have that experience to say just yet. But it is, I can see it happening. So I don't know what that's about.
Mhm.
Hopefully that'll change going into the future.
Yes. So when do you graduate? How long until you graduate?
2 years.
Okay, 2 years. We're gonna do a follow-up interview and see what you what you've learned, what you found. That's how research works,
Hopefully I
right?
graduate in 2 years.
Hey,
That's
things
what I'm
happen,
planning to do.
Fingers crossed.
I know,
I have full
exactly.
faith in you. So we're gonna start closing out this interview. Do you have any other final words of wisdom or advice that you would like to impart?
None that I can think of. Everything was kind of summarized there,
Right.
really.
Okay, well, thank you so much for joining me. With the 5-hour time difference, this was a lot to work through, but I am so glad I was able to get to talk to you. I am fascinated by the world of physics and still very sad that I never went into it, but I definitely think engineering was the way to go for me. So I love living vicariously through you.
Me too. And I almost went into engineering as well. As I said, my dad's an engineer, so I was kind of
Right.
looking into that for a while. But yeah, that's very interesting. Which type of engineer are you?
I'm industrial and systems.
Oh, fascinating. That's so cool.
Thank you. What type of engineering was your dad?
Electrical.
Ah, okay.
Yeah.
Electrical.
Yeah.
Bless him.
I know, God love him.
The electrical has always been like my least favorite of things to study. Even when I took physics, the electrical was never my favorite.
I know. I'm in an electronics lab right now, actually, and I'm having such a hard time with it. And and he keeps trying to explain things to me, and I'm like,
I don't know.
but oh, yeah, no, that was actually how he started out. He wanted to go into mechanical,
Mhm.
but at the time he couldn't get into the class. His college didn't offer it, and he defaulted to electrical. And at first hated it, and then he just like had a big click moment, and it all just went right. So worked out in the end, I guess.
Amazing. Well, again, thank you so much for joining me today. I am so excited that I got to speak to you.
It's
And
nice to talk to you as well. I've been watching your TikToks for ages. They're fantastic.
oh, thank you. All right.